You ever have one of those days where the clock is just ticking and no matter how fast you work, it always stays ahead of you and beats you in the race? Well, I have those days about 5 days a week, so hey, join the crowd. Okay, let's get busy here with your Thursday video report. Listen, last night I cashed in with my MAC game of the year, and if you know, watching these video reports over the years, how much I despise the MAC, you knew I must have loved that game with Western Michigan last night at Ball State. And I did, and I won, and you got Western Michigan in that road route of the Cardinals in Muncie, Indiana last night at over half price off. And it was another top-rated 15-dime best bet winner. And guys, I have another one going tonight, number 10 out of 12. But this time I go back to the NBA, where I went 2-0 last week with these 15-dime best bets. And let me just remind you again, opening 3 weeks or so of any season, the only time we have the advantage over the odds makers because they don't have a firm grasp on these teams coming out of exhibition or preseason play. Now, ultimately, they do catch up. It doesn't take them that long, 2-3 weeks generally, a little longer in college basketball, of course, but ultimately those lines get sharper and they take that advantage back. But now is the time to strike. That's why I'm coming out again tonight with another top-rated 15-dime NBA best bet. It's my blowout of the month. These plays, 2-0 so far this season in the NBA, 78, 54, and 3 with them going back to the 2009 campaign. And just like the first two, and just like last night's winner on Western Michigan, you get it for over half price off by using coupon code HOOPS, H-O-O-P-S. By the way, Chris Jordan, whose normal top-rated play is a 1,000-star release last night, hit his Raise the Bar 1,500-star release on Western Michigan as well. He's had two 1,500-star plays so far this football season in college. He's won them both. Tonight, he has his third. It's on the Toledo-Akron game. You get it for over half price off by using coupon code MAC, M-A-C. All your other discounts, promos, etc., including the charity play of the week, over on the home page. Now, let's talk about this game between Toledo and Akron tonight. Now, listen, the reason I used Western Michigan last night and won't touch the Toledo game tonight, I like Western Michigan because they score a lot of points. Well, so does Toledo. But the difference between the Broncos and the Rockets is Western Michigan at least plays a little defense. That's why they're undefeated. Why the Rockets have 2 losses is because they fail to play defense frequently. It hurt them in their shootout 55-52 loss at BYU. Actually, it was 55-53 in that loss in Provo a couple of Friday nights ago. And, of course, last week as a 16-point favorite at home against Ohio, they lost that game 31-26. The Bobcats, I mean, Jesus, they were amazing in that game. Over 500 yards of total offense. They had 12 plays for over 20 yards in distance in that game. One of the running backs, Dorian Brown, ran 29 times for 212 yards. So, again, it's tough for me to want to be laying 10 points with this Toledo team on the road. But as a free pick, I have to admit, I still do like them because I gave them serious consideration tonight. I think that the defense, after giving up 512 yards, will have a more inspired effort tonight. And at the same time, there was nothing wrong with their offense last week, except the offense didn't wake up from its slumber until the second half against Ohio, because in the first quarter, the Rockets were scoreless. Now, for a team that averages 39.4 points and 544 yards a game, that's surprising. For a team that averages that type of points and yards per game, to have just 6 points on 2 field goals in the first half at home, that was a shock. So I think they're going to come out and get things going here tonight against Akron, a Zips team that's coming off a 41-20 loss against a Buffalo team that had just 1 win on the season. I mean, prior to that game last week, Logan Woodside, the quarterback for Toledo, you know, if I asked you, and this was Jeopardy, the question being, who's leading the Division I ball quarterbacks in touchdown passes, would you have guessed it would be Logan Woodside of Toledo? But yes, 31 touchdown passes so far this season. So I'm going to go with Toledo tonight. I'm going to lay the points. Toledo can run the ball as well. They average 197 yards a game. Akron does not stop the run that well either. So, matter of fact, Akron has allowed an average of 337 rushing yards a game the last 3 games. That's why I'm taking Toledo tonight minus the points. And you're getting them at a discount. Listen, if Toledo had won that game against Ohio last week, right? Instead of losing as a 16-point home favorite. Toledo easily would have been laying 14 points here. Instead, Toledo's only a 10-point chalk. So I know it's kind of strange to say a 10-point road favorite is a cheap chalk, but in reality, that's what the Rockets are tonight. Your next game on the NBA tonight, I'm going to take the Houston Rockets tonight at New York. Let me just check real quick and see what the latest line is on this game. You got to love these live video reports. Wow, okay. Now down to pick 'em. Some places the Knicks are a 1-point favorite here. When I handicapped the game earlier today, Houston was 1. Who the hell cares? Listen, the Rockets are coming off a 128-120 loss at Cleveland last night. That was their third game in 4 nights. Is that right? No, that just can't possibly be. Am I thinking that out correctly? Guys, give me 1 second here. I got to think that I'm thinking that wrong. I've got to be thinking of another team. I didn't write any notes on this. I'm doing it with some memory, so I don't want to lead you astray here. But let me think. I'm looking this up. So the Rockets lost last night. They played on November 1st. No, tonight is going to be their third game in 4 nights, which is not a great position generally to be in, especially when you're a team that plays up-tempo like the Rockets do, especially when you're a team who, with your starting point guard, Patrick Beverley, on the injured list, you're turning to James Harden to run the show, and Harden certainly did it last night. Again, another great performance if you happen to be a fantasy league player. 41 points, 15 assists, and 7 rebounds last night. He's averaging 32.2 points, playing in Mike D'Antoni's up-tempo attack. The Knicks, meanwhile, coming off a 102-89 loss at Detroit last night. Now, that's a Detroit team playing without their point guard, Reggie Jackson, right? Knicks, 40.7% shooting in that game. Knicks, even though the Pistons were shorthanded, and they have more injuries than just missing Reggie Jackson, Knicks allowed the Pistons to score 50 points in the paint. Knicks failed to score in the final 5 minutes and 40 seconds in the fourth quarter of that game. They missed their final 9 field goal attempts in that game. After the game, I thought this was an interesting quote. This one I did write down. Let me just quote this for you. Jeff Hornacek, their head coach, said, quote, "We're not in the kind of conditions we need to be to play offense and defense for 48 minutes. Gee, Jeff, you're not? And these are professional athletes, and you had a preseason camp as well? Okay, I understand Derrick Rose didn't play much in the preseason, but what about the rest of your team? You're not in shape to play 48 minutes? Do you think the Rockets care? Because the Rockets are going to push the pace of this game tonight. I don't care that it's the Rockets' third game in 4 nights. They're going to come out, and they're going to want to accelerate the tempo of the game. And if the Knicks couldn't play up-tempo and keep up with the slow, plodding Pistons last night, how are you going to keep pace with the Rockets tonight? A Rockets team that has won 6 straight at the Garden. A Rockets team that has won 11 of its last 12 in the series. Last year, Harden averaged 25 points, 9 rebounds, and 5 assists in 2 games against the Knicks. He can have another monster game tonight. So I'm going to go with the Rockets here in a virtual pick'em situation. Now, of the 2 free plays, I definitely like Toledo more, but hey, let's go with the Rockets as well. That'll do it, guys. I wish you well, and I'll talk to you again tomorrow when we do this one more time.